I was born a Christian, and I come from a long line of pastors and people that are involved in church. But faith wasn't always a part of my upbringing. I wasn't always faithful to God. I had the moments that I doubt who God was in my life. I got married in 1994, and after 8 years, we had our first daughter. Her name is Larissa, which means cheerful. And to this day, she's very cheerful everywhere she goes. A few years after she was born, we decided to get pregnant again. During that time, my sister-in-law, my wife's only sister, passed away. When she passed away, our world collapsed. We spent many months asking God, she was so young. She was only 26. Why? We would take long drives on Saturdays afternoon just to relax and see nature and talk to God. One time I was driving up to Camarillo and we saw this kaleidoscope of butterflies coming over the highway that I was driving. There were so many butterflies that I had to stop the car to see the butterflies. Right when we were asking God, can you show us that you haven't abandoned us? My wife and I started crying because we felt the hand of God showing us through nature and through the butterflies that He was with us. A few years later, we got pregnant. During the pregnancy and the exams, the doctor said, I noticed something different about the ultrasound and about the exams of your pregnancy. So I'm gonna refer you to a specialist. We went to a specialist. After the exam, he came back to us and he said, there's a 75% chance that your daughter will be born with Down syndrome. What is your decision? Are you going to keep it or are you going to get rid of it? Both my wife and I answered, no doubt about it. We're going to keep it. That started to eat us on the inside. And we started again asking God, please help us. We prayed that God's will would be done in our lives. And even if it was a child with Down syndrome, we would still embrace her and we would still love her because that was God's destiny for our lives, and God knew why. When we were looking for a name on what to name our daughter, we came across the name Lanessa. When we looked into the name and the meaning of her name, found out that Lanessa means butterfly. It meant that God was with us and He was showing that He was with us no matter what, through the good times and the bad times. So we named her Lanessa. When she was born, the first thing that the doctor did was to examine her. And after 10 seconds, the doctor looked at us and he said, she is perfect. My wife and I started crying. People in the room didn't understand what was happening. Are they crying because they're happy? Are they crying because they're sad? What's going on? That afternoon, the nurse came in and said, I'm here to give Lanessa her first bath. I had a video camera on the corner of the room, proud dad to have a good, perfect daughter, and I was ready to record her first bath. The nurse started unwrapping her, and all of a sudden, she said, oh, look, she has a birthmark on her back. From the corner, I zoomed in with the camera. The nurse said, it looks like a butterfly. And I turned the camera sideways, and I saw a symbol of a butterfly on her back. Again, my wife and I started crying because butterfly has a beautiful meaning in our lives. And God stamped the butterfly on her back for us to remember that He's always with us. Lanessa has the butterfly mark on her back until this day. She's singing at church, she's participating with the youth, and we're so blessed to have her in our lives. One thing only kept us going: the faith that God was going to see us through, that we believed that God loves us.